Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm really enjoying doing the bite-sized tier list at the moment. I love the discussion in the comments section, and I wanted to do one for the 27 new characters that are going to be added into the 7-star basic tomorrow. We have so many characters coming in. This is, I believe, the biggest update ever to the 7-star base pool, on top of everything that already exists. But I wanted to have a look individually at these 27 characters and talk about who are some of the new chase bangers if you don't already have them, and who is kind of a little bit underwhelming, you know, who is kind of adding like additional filler into the ball potentially. So yeah, if you don't know, tomorrow all these characters are coming from last year's banquet event. So we got the Glorious Guardians. Then we also have the Rebirth champions from Summer, the buffed up ones. So a lot of these are really, really good. And then we got the Saga and Rare champions. A bit of a mixed bag on this one. Like some of these are, you know, not the best characters, not really ones you want to get. But Mr. Sinister is a huge, huge W. And then on top of that, we got the 6 characters coming out of the Titan Crystal and also Isophene. So grand total of 27. A lot of characters being added into that 7-star basic. Again, it's getting very busy, and it's going to get even busier moving forward. Now, who do I think are like the 3 best by a significant margin? For me, in my opinion, is Cull Obsidian, Okoye, and Mr. Sinister. Cull Obsidian is a monster, dude. He is kind of like the damage ceiling at the moment in Battlegrounds. This character can just destroy so many meta defenders in under 20 seconds. Even if you get like a half-decent lineup. So yeah, Cull Obsidian is just kind of unfairly broken in terms of his damage output, man. He feels amazing to play. Between like him and Carolina, I've just had like, you know, insane Battlegrounds matches where I've gone 2 matches, like they're both below like 25 seconds. I'm like, dude, this feels great. So yeah, Cull Obsidian, mainly as a Battlegrounds character, but even as a questing character, if you can, you know, stomach a few fights with the buffed up version, kind of by fight 3, like he's just doing insane things. And then if you get him fully ramped up, yeah, he's just an absolute monster there. But Cull Obsidian is crazy, man. The buff was really, really generous to him. And then we got Okoye. Okoye is just incredible. You know, she is arguably the #1 skill champion in the game at the moment. So much damage output, lots of debuffs, lots of buffs. Could just take so many meta defenders. So she's absolutely tremendous. And then Mr. Sinister, an amazing kind of dual threat for Battlegrounds, can take so many different matches, and is still a really annoying kind of trap character if you don't have a counter or way to kind of get past his crit regeneration, because he's so insane for that one ability on its own. Like, especially if you've played Mr. Sinister against Yelena, you know what I mean? Like, you just can't really go below 100% health, and it just feels stupid, dude. It feels so stupid. But Mr. Sinister is all the right kinds of broken, and yeah, an absolute banger pull. And the fact that all 3 of these are in the basic again does add some pretty nice value. And I would say like all of the S tier characters as well add like a really generous amount of value here. They're all banger pulls. A lot of these are very good unawakened as well. You've got Viv Vision, an amazing kind of dual threat, tons of utility. If you get kind of comfortable with playing her and her phasing, there's a lot of very interesting things you can do with Viv. I think Sim has some of the best videos out there, but a lot of people that have taken Viv up to rank 4 don't really have any regrets on that. But I think she does also benefit from being awakened and a fairly high sig as well on that one. And then we do have Anti-Venom. Anti-Venom after his buff is so much more enjoyable to play. You can just get to and sustain kind of that big damage loop so much easier. He's got a lot of utility for dealing with various matchups, can shut down regeneration quite nicely. So yeah, Anti-Venom is a beast. I know for some people are really on the Anti-Venom hype, and also for Viv, arguably, could be placed in SS tier, depending on how much, you know, you really like these characters and get used to them. But for me, just personally, they're almost there, but not quite there. You know, I have other characters that I prefer to bring in instead of these 2, but I haven't really taken like Anti-Venom to the absolute limit. But I'm enjoying kind of some of the matches I have with Viv at the moment. It's just like very hard to compete with how good like Guardian and Shocker and Stark and Spider-Man are in some scenarios there. Then next up, we got Sentinel, amazing dual threat character, tons of utility, and he's just really tanky and throwing loads of special attacks with the power cost reduction. So he's still very annoying on Battlegrounds defense, especially if you're a player like me, you're very impatient and you just like to, you know, push the defender. If you get to that special 3 and Sentinel gets it off, he's going to full heal up, and that is a bad time, and you're also probably dead by that point as well. But yeah, Sentinels are still really, really annoying to fight when they're rank 4. I know a lot of people that still kind of swear by Sentinel in their Battlegrounds deck and love having that stacked up tech roster. So yeah, Sentinel's still quite a popular character after he got buffed up last Christmas. And then we got Gentle, a bit of a dual threat character, mainly used on defense if I'm honest from what I've seen so far. Is still a very annoying defender. That unstoppable timer, depending on like the additional nodes and meta in play, just can be a really big burden. And it's like when you get into a bad loop against Gentle, it's really easy just to get clapped. He's still a defender for me that's like causing me a little bit of hassle in Battlegrounds. So yeah, I still need to refine my fighting against him, but I see a lot of endgame players, they have 7-star rank for Gentle, and a lot of them draft him very regularly for defense because he's a bit of a pain there. And then next up we got Zola. Zola is still a really good Battlegrounds defender, especially if you catch your opponent off guard. I think the two characters that have really like come in to bully Zola are like Carolina Dean and Cull Obsidian. Those absolutely will tear through Zola so quickly. But aside from that, there's still kind of many nodes and scenarios where Zola is just really annoying. You know, he stalls out the match. He's very hard to knock down if you need to like remove protection or something. And he's still not a bad character to play if you can kind of get used to his play style of, you know, going for that special lock and then like spamming the heavy attacks, getting a big combo. In certain matches, he can do some really good things with like the awakened ability and a fairly high sig as well. So yeah, Zola's still a pretty interesting character all around. A good one really for any roster to have. And then we got Deadpool X-Force. Deadpool X-Force is like the best assault character for Alliance raids at the moment. He is so good with like the 4th node where you just get all of the debuffs on, you special 1, you special 2, and then you just hit the damage cap. He is absolutely ridiculous. I have switched over to the assault role in raids at the moment because there's not a lot of people that have Deadpool to play that role currently, and yeah, he makes playing that role in Nightmare Alliance raids just an absolute joy. And outside of that, he's still really good for a lot of skill champions, and there's a lot of matches that you can just take very well with Deadpool if you go kind of special 2, special 1 rotation. But I would say Mutant's just a very, very competitive class. I still think he does incredibly well. And he's a great champion to pull. It's just there is a lot of competition, you know, when you've got Mr. Sinister, Jean Grey, and Onslaught up there. And then we got Dazzler. Dazzler with her awakened ability is just, you know, skill class destroyer. Dazzler, if you get very good at playing Dazzler, there's a lot of kind of weird and unexpected matches that she does. I remember when somebody just absolutely nuked my Photon down with Dazzler almost perfectly. I think they played the matchup really, really well. But Dazzler's one of those characters where, you know, she's just all about that big special 2 burst. If you can get that lineup, like opponents are just going to melt there. And then we've got Medusa. I still absolutely love Medusa. Cosmic Champion, hits really, really hard, has the ability to apply lots of armor breaks and gain access to the bleeds, but buffed up Medusa hits like an absolute truck. I guess kind of the more I think about Medusa, she could potentially be down here somewhere, but I just think she's got really good damage output. She's super easy to play. She's not a bad dual threat against like some matches if you can trap them, because her auto block comes up very, very frequently. So yeah, personally, I still have a bit of a soft spot for Medusa. I still think she's like a banging character to pull out of a 7-star basic there. And then next up, we got a character that arguably, and I think maybe a couple of months ago, would have been up here in the S tier, because Purgatory was like the #1 Assault Raids character for a minute before she got removed from that roster. But it was super cheesy, man. You kind of just got like one special 3, and then you just won the match. So yeah, Purgatory, I know a lot of people have really great memories of this character in Nightmare Raids. And generally speaking, dude, she hits like a truck. Like, her buff is really, really good. Arguably, she could be up here as well for some people. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind. I just find, like, I tried to play Purgatory in Battlegrounds a little bit earlier this year, but she was always a bit too slow. and just didn't really have like the reliable utility that other characters brought to the table for kind of the matches I needed her for. So yeah, Purgatory is still a banger pull, but not the absolute top meta, at least in my experience. Sentry, the power of a million suns. This character is really good to get as a 7-star for Epoch, but even like a 6-star can get the job done as well. He's got access to a lot of buffs, a lot of debuffs. He's generally like a very good questing character, and for all sorts of like weird things that appear in the game. But yeah, Sentry, I would say, doesn't really get that much mileage or use for a lot of players unless you're like, I want to play Sentry. Sentry is my guy, in which case, you know, you're going to have an absolutely tremendous time there. Then next up, we got Ultron. Ultron's still got an amazing kit of utility, access to a lot of, you know, base immunities, regeneration, hits pretty hard as well once you get that special 2 off, and is still a little bit annoying as a defender because he does have that evade timer, does kind of slow people down, but like most people are very used to fighting Ultron by this point. You know, he's not the most difficult defender in the world, but he's still a good character to have to the roster because, you know, he's very versatile, he's got a lot of utility, but yeah, he's probably not going to be making the top Battlegrounds meta deck cut. And then we got Nightcrawler again. Got a buff, and his damage output is a lot better than it was previously. He's also still a little bit of an annoying defender that can trip some people up in certain scenarios. So yeah, Nightcrawler is not too bad. And then we got Captain Marvel Movie. Captain Marvel Movie, I think is a really good one to add to the roster, because like when you eventually get her awakened, the invulnerability from the awakened ability is still very, very overpowered in my opinion. But Cap Marvel Movie, she's kind of this character that, you know, was like I think 2020, and you had the Nick Fury synergy, and you just put like 4 suicides, 4 boosters, and you would have the best time just demolishing story content. And I just feel like she doesn't quite fill that role for a lot of people, or fit into a lot of the current content structure at the moment, where it's like no team synergies, you get no opportunity to ramp up, because it's like the first fight with Captain Marvel Movie is always the most grindy. It's kind of the worst fight, but I would say for if you wanted to like 7-star rank for her, 4 boosters, and just burst down like story content, like she could be up here or up here. But I think like her overall uses in the game like are a bit more restricted than they used to be, but again, arguably she could be valued a little bit higher there. But I hope to get the 7-star and do a revisit at some point as well, because I used to love playing Cap Marvel Movie. Very, very fun character. And then in the B tier, we got a lot of champions that I think they're all kind of good champions. They bring a lot to the table in terms of the damage output and the things that they have. It's just like, this game's so competitive. There have been, you know, so many champions released, so many champions that have been buffed. It is really hard to find a slot on the team. Like Sabretooth, as an example, you know, got buffed up this summer. He's an incredible ramp-up character. There is so much damage output. And I've seen Sabretooth actually doing some pretty crazy things in Labyrinth. And I watched MCOC Encyclopedia's one. And if you really get him going in the right piece of content, you know, maybe he's up here. But again, he just doesn't really have that platform to shine right now. And it's kind of a similar story with Carnage as well. Like Carnage, he kind of needs the synergies. He needs a very long ramp up. I hope there's like some sort of Carnage relic that allows him to be good for like Colosseum when that comes out, because Carnage is really, really fun to play. But I do think out of the symbiotes, like Venom is just the absolute GOAT with the the Venom relic, dude. That is a crazy, crazy pairing right now. So yeah, like having played the 7-star rank 4 Carnage and the rank 4 Venom recently, like Venom is just like on a different level, dude. He is so crazy with that 6-star relic at like rank 4. So yeah, Carnage, you know, he just needs that piece of content in the future. Black Panther got some alright damage, pretty good utility as well after his buff, but again, he's just behind many other skill characters, and I think it really is the Black Panther Civil War that kind of takes the spotlight for just his burst rotation and cycle at the moment. I've seen a lot of interesting things from the Black Panther Civil War, especially in Battlegrounds, so yeah, I need to look into that character a little bit more myself at some point. Night Thrasher got a buff. The general consensus, I watched a lot of videos on this earlier, is just like, he's still not quite where he needs to be. I know he got kind of the power from a lot of previous synergies kind of moved into the base of his kit, and he is somewhat a bit more impressive in longer ramp-up fights, but I think, again, it's that scenario of, like, you don't really see those fights too much. Falcon, I know Kat Murdoch loves her Falcon Alliance War gameplay videos, and she does pretty well, to be fair. I think if you're very committed to Falcon, you can do some things in Alliance War with Falcon and his base utility. And then we got Dr. Voodoo. Dr. Voodoo's still got like some amazing power control, dude. The power control on his special 2 is just absolutely ridiculous. I just haven't really seen enough like high tier gameplay from Dr. Voodoo or him really putting in work. So yeah, he's just like really overshadowed by like how good Colobsidian, Viv, and Anti-Venom were. Kind of the same for like Sabretooth and Night Thrasher as well. Like those 3 are very, very strong, and these 3 a little bit lukewarm just in comparison as well. So yeah, I maybe need to do a Dr. Voodoo revisit at some point. And then the bottom tier, these are characters that I just don't really want to see out of a 7-star. Like you got kind of Invisible Woman. You know, I don't believe has ever had any sort of significant tune-up or increase. She's still a little bit of an annoying defender, but, you know, nowhere near as bad as, like, Jean Grey, for example, with the reverse controls. But Invisible Woman, you know, maybe slightly annoying on defense. Civil Warrior is better after his adjustment up. He was one of the first, like, 7-star exclusive event characters to release. But it was him and Howard the Duck, I believe, released at a similar time. And Howard is really strong, and Civil Warrior just takes a bit too long to get going in the majority of content. And then we got Gwenpool, who I thought was really lackluster, because we got the free 7-star version of Gwenpool from the 10-year calendar last year. And I thought she'd hold up better than she has. I think where a lot of new characters were kind of released and just made better and better over time, she's just kind of like stayed at this level that she was in, I think, like 2017. And yeah, it's just not really quite there unless you go for like, what is it, Suicide Masteries and full team synergy. She's still got the awakened ability and kind of the value in that in really long matches of like removing all the opponent's ability accuracy. And she's still like quite a fun character in some ways. I just don't think her damage needs a little bit more love. You know, it needs to be up there a bit more, because I just found the 7-star when I was testing it just a little bit disappointing, personally speaking. And then we have the Mystic version of Spider-Man. A lot of people's least favorite Titan Paul is going to be entering. So yeah, I just haven't really been that impressed. He's still kind of like an alright dual threat character, but again, I don't think anything too amazing there. And then we got Isophene. Isophene is an alright character, but there is not much room for alright in the Mystic class. Mystic is a class of just incredible characters, and she does some matches. Like she can do certain defenders like Serpent a bit slower, so she can get that done. Like she's not completely useless, but again, I think out of all of the idols, for me, like Isophene is like by far the worst. Like Lumatrix seems pretty insane. I haven't got access to him, but I've seen some really good videos, and a lot of the best players I know love Lumatrix. Solvark is cracked. He's absolutely insane. He was used so much in the Battleground Brawl, and I've also played Imperio, so we got a gameplay video at the Summoners Fest on the channel, and Imperiosa is really, really fun. And I think it'd be a really good dual threat character as well. So I'm kind of interested to see Imperiosa's debut next month. But the idols are coming, so I'm looking forward to the next time we do a 7-star basic update where we have Lumatrix. The next update is actually going to be a lot better for the basic itself, because you have like that kind of Jean Grey Bastion batch, and also I think Spider-Woman's in that batch as well, along with like Lumatrix and maybe some other characters. So yeah, that one is actually looking pretty spicy, whereas this one I think is very hit and miss, right? I think your big hits, your, you know, SS characters, your S characters, and probably the A characters, you're probably quite happy to see most of these, unless you've pulled a lot of dupes in the Titan, of course. But yeah, a lot of the B and C ones you might not be so happy to see, maybe aside from Carnage, right? Carnage, like, you know, I'm really excited to pull some copies of Carnage, because I'm hoping and hopeful that there is going to be something in the next decade that Carnage is going to be useful for once again. I think that'd be a really good time. But yeah, overall, let me know your thoughts on the 7-star basic pool update. And if you did enjoy today's breakdown, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.